Tonight, the OACS Commission calls for due process before assuming guilt in the sexual misconduct claims against one of its employees, who is also a senior official of the NYC. The Police Welfare Association reacts to the National Trust lawsuit against the state for the demolition of the Royal Jail, saying good riddance. And the CSA warns the Health Ministry to address concerns expressed by staff ahead of the transition to the Millennium Heights complex, or else. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Wednesday, the 12th of May, 2021. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovelace St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The OACS Commission has issued a statement on the alleged misconduct of an employee who is also a senior official of the National Youth Council, NYC. The OACS is urging against the rush to judgment and notes that it does not discriminate against anyone based on sexual orientation. The Commission confirmed that it was informed of allegations of misconduct against one of its staff. Its statement reads, quote, "We have a zero-tolerance policy as well as defined processes for addressing misconduct of any kind, including those in question. We are aware of the investigation by the St. Lucia National Youth Council, the outcome of which will be useful consideration in informing how the Commission moves forward. The Commission does not discriminate against any race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. We advocate due diligence, due process, and caution before determining guilt." End quote. That was a statement by the OACS Commission. Police have confirmed to Hot 7 TV News that there is no matter before them in relation to the alleged sexual misconduct. No complaints of sexual assault or even a complaint of libel have been brought to the police force. The young man who leveled allegations of having sex with a senior NYC official is not a minor, as per the legal definition, given that the age of consent is 16 and the teen is 16. The teen has since released a voice note indicating that he created the screenshot to get back at the official and expressed regret and apologies in that voice note. The National Youth Council, for its part, has indicated that it has launched an internal investigation into the allegations of sexual misconduct. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force has continued to record successes in the fight against the illicit gun trade. During an operation conducted on Wednesday, the 12th of May, on Martin Luther King Street in Vieux-Fort, 5 firearms and a wide range of ammunition were recovered at a residence. The firearms recovered included an AR-15 rifle and 4 pistols. About 110 rounds of ammunition of varying caliber were also recovered by officers during the operation. Additionally, several black ski masks, 2 bulletproof vests, as well as a quantity of controlled drugs were confiscated. A series of operations conducted in the Dennery village commencing on the 5th of May 2021 resulted in the recovery of 1 Smith & Wesson pistol with 7 rounds of ammunition and 1 Taurus 9mm pistol with 13 rounds of ammunition. 2 bulletproof vests were found and seized by officers. 6 individuals were arrested during the conduct of the operations, and charges are expected to be preferred in short order. The Police Welfare Association is not on the side of the St. Lucia National Trust, which is currently suing the government of St. Lucia for the demolition of the Royal Jail. The Police Welfare Association states that while they understand the National Trust's agenda, the Police Welfare Association has a very different one.
Whilst the St. Lucia National Trust is pressing on with their lawsuit against the government of St. Lucia for the demolition of the old Royal Jail, one association that is not standing in their corner is the Police Welfare Association. On Wednesday, Press Relations Officer of the PWA, Stanislas Albert, said he understands that the SLNT is working in their best interest, which is to restore and preserve historical buildings, artifacts, and anything of national heritage. However, the PWA, whose mandate is to protect the well-being of its members, cannot support the trust on this occasion. Albert said the proposed ideas by the SLNT to preserve the building whilst incorporating it into the plans to build a new police headquarters on the site could not have worked in any way, shape, or form.
The demolition was in the best interest of the police because, one, it was a building that at the time was housing vagrants and other persons, and which caused a security risk to the police. Secondly, the government has proposed to build a new headquarters there. We welcome the idea, and we are hoping that it is something that will happen as soon as possible because we are spread out all over the place, and I don't think that is good enough for the police. The same problems that we have had in the past with some of the old buildings that were there, that were renovated, and I don't know if you're aware of it, but there was one business house that assisted the police in renovating one of the buildings, and in quick time, the police had to leave that same building that was renovated after so much money had been spent on the building. And I think I'm not an expert, but with the materials that these buildings were built with, I think that these buildings, even if renovated, after a short period of time, we will still get back to the same problems that we are having now.
Speaking of plans to build a new police headquarters on the site, the 23rd of May will mark 1 year since the building was demolished, yet the site continues to be used as a car park. Albert said the PWA members continue to practice patience as they understand the reasons behind the numerous delays for the commencement of the planned works.
The government got the buildings demolished, and then later on in the budget they said that there was some monies allocated to start the building. Some time ago I saw some persons there, they came in for a day. As a matter of fact, they got the assistance of the police in getting all vehicles out of there on the day in question. I was hoping something would have happened at the sooner. But again, as much as we, the police, would love to see that building get on its way, but we understand that with COVID, things may take a little time. And again, we are in the election period, so we are bearing patience, hoping to see what has happened.
Albert said he is happy that the decision was taken to demolish the building, and now that the deed is done, he is confident that a new home for the police will be erected regardless of which administration is sworn into power following the next general elections. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Thank you, Rochelle. We've heard the opinions of a government minister, the St. Lucia National Trust, and now officers of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force on the demolition of the Royal Jail and the resulting lawsuit. So now we take to the streets to get your opinion.
The St. Lucia National Trust has hauled the government of St. Lucia before the courts, suing them for the demolition of the Royal Jail in Castries. Whilst the building was one of the island's oldest standing structures historically, it has now been reduced to a parking lot. The SLNT believes that the demolition was the destruction of part of the island's patrimony. However, others believe that the building had become nothing but a hazardous and neglected eyesore. So with that, we took to the streets to ask members of the public whether they agree with the SLNT or whether they agreed with the demolition. Here's what they had to say.
Okay, for me personally, I think it's okay for them to build a new one. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's been a building for a very long time, so there's nothing wrong with that. Unless they're renovating it the same place, nothing's wrong with that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
Agree for them to make noise because they break down the thing, and up to now, they look like a jungle. They haven't fixed it up. They have right to make noise because the person that break down the building, he like to break down things and he can't fix it up back. So therefore that's wrong.
Because that's 100-and-something-year-old jail. Plus we have another one there. And what sense is making to mash up half and leave the other half there? When that's a nice spot and you could get a place for the police officers. But no matter what they do, all of them are the same thing. All of them under the same cover. Okay? So no matter what they do, is our money going back there to our money and just to build the country. But I see what the trust doing there. I see they have to make all those noise because of they know that jail was supposed to go down and the jail go down. And no matter what, it go down already. So no matter what they do, the jail is down. And that's what I like to see because that was a place to not have zombies and all people used to hide and do how many things inside of that old jail there. But I'm happy they mash it up. Let the trust deal with them because all of them are the same government.
I do not want to blame anyone really for the situation. But the way I look at it, the people who are running the National Trust, they do have the interest of St. Lucians at heart. In other words, I would call them real nationalists. So I cannot disagree with what they're doing. Therefore, it's left to the powers that be, in fact, the judge or whoever it is, to settle that between the government and the National Trust.
Ça moni pour pas hot la chose de pour croiser, bien pas pièce pièce pour la jola bita ville la cette ici. Honnêtement, côté il border ex il just go start you. So ma rien pour Khalid George Junior a parler, Khalid George pas me connaître history cette ici. So je venu hier bon matin. So yo ça croiser la jola l'ex l'année l'autre comme on veut croiser toujours.
Well, you've just heard what they had to say. If you want a chance to tell us your thoughts, join us next time when you can have your say. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Stay with us. Still to come, the CSA calls out the Ministry of Health for a lack of response to its letter expressing concern about the Millennium Heights complex transition. Taxi driver Lucian Joseph is not convinced that the vaccination drive will help revive the tourism sector anytime soon. And the National Students' Council makes a call for mediation skills to be taught within schools following a school scuffle gone viral.